You've probably seen advertising online, in the mail, and all over the radio to refinance and get a new mortgage. But you may be wondering, what information do you need to evaluate, and how do you know when the right time is to refinance your mortgage? So in this video today, I'm going to go over exactly what questions to ask and what you need to evaluate in order to determine when the right time to refinance is for you. This is Robert Weinberg, and on this channel we empower people to take control of their future through expert mortgage and financial strategies. If it's your first time, go ahead and hit subscribe. Also click the bell so you get notified on our future content. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about how do you know when to refinance your mortgage, what questions to ask, and what you really need to evaluate in order to do so. The big question that you want to look at, and I would say one of the main motives for people refinancing, is going to be what are the current average interest rates. If you've been hearing the buzz in the media, online, and commercials and whatnot about interest rates being very low, then that may be a good indication that you may want to look at refinancing and evaluating your current interest rate versus the market. Another big thing is, even if your interest rate is staying the same or going up, it might make sense to refinance if you can save money on your monthly payment. And that might entail a term reduction or extension or eliminating the PMI or extra insurances that are on your mortgage. So you want to also look at how much could you save per month on your payment by refinancing your mortgage. A huge reason in all economies that people look to refinance is going to be to bring out and release some of that pent-up equity in your property. So if you had put a large down payment when you bought your home, or if you've just been in the house for a while and you've been paying down and amortizing your mortgage, you may have some equity built up that could be better used elsewhere. As we've talked about in other lessons, home equity in the house has a 0% rate of return. So if you can reposition some of that equity to consolidate high-interest debt, to take advantage of investment opportunities, or to improve your property and increase its value, that could be a great reason to release some of that equity buildup and actually refinance your mortgage for your benefit. Another important thing you want to evaluate and a question you want to ask is, should you change the type of mortgage that you have? A lot of people, when they buy their first property, they use an FHA or a VA loan, and that loan may not be the most optimal loan for your situation. You may want to convert that loan over to a conventional mortgage, and it's not possible to do that until you have a certain amount of equity and your credit's at a certain situation that would allow you to qualify for that type of loan. And that could save you money on your monthly payment and or your interest, as we talked about earlier. The other important thing to look at is, should you change the term of your loan? So that would either be taking you down to a shorter term, like taking you from a 20-year mortgage down to a 15-year or 10-year mortgage, or extending your term out. Maybe you are going to be retiring in the future, or maybe you've got a future expense coming up that you want to be prepared for. You could extend the term of your loan, for example, from a 15-year mortgage, maybe back to a 20 or a 30-year mortgage, and that will decrease the amount of your monthly payments significantly, almost regardless of what the new interest rate is going to be. So that's a great thing that you want to look at and evaluate when you're trying to decide if it's the right time to refinance. Now, you also want to understand what your credit looks like, because of course everyone knows the better credit you have, typically the better interest rate, the better mortgage program that you're going to qualify for. So if your credit's in a better spot now than it was when you bought your home, or if it's in a better spot now than it was when you did your refinance or your last mortgage, that would warrant an evaluation of refinancing for your particular needs, because you might be able to benefit and qualify for something better today than you did back at that time. Again, regardless of what the interest rates are doing or any of the other factors, that one thing alone might make the difference that gives you that push to make refinancing make sense. And as we always talk about, you really want to make sure you've got a trusted mortgage advisor on your wealth team to help guide you through this. If you don't already have a trusted mortgage advisor, you want to go find one, and you want to link up with them and create an ongoing relationship. With all my clients, I do an annual mortgage review, and I really recommend that you do at least one review per year of your mortgage, regardless of whether you think it's worth it, regardless of whether you think you can qualify or not. You want to make sure you do that annual review, because you may have more equity built up in your property than you thought. There might be loan programs you were not even aware of because this stuff is always changing, and it might be a good situation for you to benefit from refinancing. So worst case scenario is that you just stay with your current mortgage, and we look at it and say, your current mortgage, your current situation, you're in a good spot, just stick with what you got. No obligation, no cost. But on the other side, best case scenario, you may be able to unlock some wealth. You might be able to take some of that equity and reposition it somewhere. You might be able to lower your monthly payment, do all the things that we're talking about here, and you won't know about any of that unless you have that mortgage advisor doing at least one review for you on an annual basis to make sure you're in the best specific scenario for your particular mortgage needs. So I hope that this gives you some good insight into what you need to look at as to when you should refinance your property. I do appreciate you watching this and taking the time. Go ahead and follow me on my social media pages. Also, call or text me directly if I can be of assistance to you or anyone you know with the mortgage process. Hope it helps, and we'll talk to you soon.